Hello,
Hi,
what's your name?
I'm Jack.
Hi Jack. And where did you grow up and where do you live now?
I grew up in London and I live in Oxford now.
And what's been the predominant spiritual or contemplative practice for your life?
The Ashtanga Yoga practice, yeah, that's really influenced my relationship with myself and with my physicality. I have cerebral palsy, which it's a disability that can affect people in lots of different ways. For me, I've got a lot of muscle tension in the left side of my body. I'm actually lucky, it's very minor, comparatively speaking. So yeah, it's a challenge, but there's a blessing in there as well.
All right. Okay, so before I ask you what that blessing is,
Yeah.
is it something you've had all your life?
It is, yeah. So I was born 3 months premature, which saved my life, but has given me the lifelong disability or condition, yeah.
And what was your, if you don't mind me asking, what was your childhood?
No.
What was your childhood like?
It was really kind of lovely, actually. I'm very lucky. A fairly large family. I've got 3 older sisters, and I grew up in London and in just on the Welsh border. So there was a lot of kind of freedom and nature around me, which felt very positive. It was very good for me. Yeah.
What did the nature give you?
There's something about pace in nature for me. It's maybe a bit of a cliche, but to realise that the tempo of life is something that we can choose. I think that's visible in nature. We can see lifespans of animals that are much shorter than ours, or lifespans of trees that are much longer than ours. So for me, it gives me an internal sense of rhythm, and it's very soothing. I have anxiety and OCD, which for me grows out of having the lifelong condition, because there's a physical vulnerability that lodges in my mind. But yeah, that question of pace, that flow, reminds me that I can go slow. I can go at a different pace to everyone else.
And was that something that you recognised as a child, or it's something that's grown in you later, or has it been navigated through your whole life? From that lovely, sounds like you had a lovely childhood, right, with really beautiful families surrounding you, and the ability to be yourself.
Absolutely. At that time, when I was growing up in the late 80s and 90s, there was a medical pressure for me to be sent to a special school or treated differently. And my family, luckily for me, rejected that and insisted on allowing me to be in schooling with able-bodied children and just trying to normalize being a bit different to other people. But yeah, in terms of the learning, your question about when did this come to me, it's there are times it's been a hard lesson, you know. There were times that I literally hit the concrete at, you know, walking along when other people don't. They don't have to look for cracks in the pavement where I do, but at the same time, that means that I have a connection to my physical self, which is very hopefully quite strong, quite intimate. I understand my limits as a body, but also as a human.
And so, when did Ashtanga Yoga or yoga come into play for you?
It's my dad has done some yoga in the past, but it really came in my teenage years. My sister Jess was doing Ashtanga Yoga. She was working with Petri, and she really encouraged me. She could see that it would be a very balancing thing for me, both, you know, physically, emotionally, mentally. It would help me to balance these elements in my life, and she was right.
What was this initial thing that it showed you? What was the moment when you were like, this now changes things?
I think, you know, I came into it with some ego, some idea that I might look like the people on the book covers, the people in the videos, that I might be able to make these almost balletic shapes and forms, and that you know, that would be elegant, that I would have a beauty and an ability. And I learned quite quickly that that's not what yoga is about.
What did you learn?
I learned that I need to take everything with a pinch of salt. That when I'm being taught these postures and poses, I need to take into account myself, because this is one scenario where I can't be a people pleaser. I can't match everyone else. So, you know, I have to find a path that is my own. And sometimes that means saying, actually, I can't do that. I'll have to do it differently. And I was really lucky to work with Petri and Wambui, his wife, because they were really open to reconsidering what they learned and what they knew about yoga in order to adapt it to be something that I could engage with. but it never felt like, you know, that I was a special case. You know, it was much more about evolving the practice to work with me rather than at all making me feel like I needed to match the teaching. So there was a real willingness to be flexible in the mind of Petri and Wambui, and you know, I'll always be grateful to them for that, because it's unusual. It's unusually compassionate.
So what do you feel that the practice has helped you with that compassion, with that ability for your teachers to open up, and then for almost like you're saying, there's something like everyone's adapting to the practice, to the situation, and going, what's alive here? And I think I'm interested in, I think there's something really beautiful in, you know, my understanding of yoga is about relationship and how we kind of interact. And there's something really beautiful about this ideas that we think yoga is, and then someone comes in to be able to kind of, you know, look at those ideas from different ways, and we all get to learn something really precious and new. Do you feel like that's been an evolution, you know, in relationship to yourself, in relationship to your teachers? I think I hear that's what you're saying.
Absolutely, that's spot on, Scott. You know, there are times that I've come to the mat in the past and it's felt like a fight with my body, and you know, I'm disappointed in myself. I feel shame that I can't put myself into the poses, the asanas, in the way that I hoped I would. But from those difficult practices, I've learned quickly that stops me feeling safe on the mat. If I abandon myself like that, if I turn on myself, it makes yoga a frightening thing where I might reject myself. So the thing that I've learned is that, as we all learn on the mat, I think we have to meet ourselves where we are. And as Petri has said before, we have to allow ourselves to be what we are, the beings we are. And, you know, I have to bring a lot of understanding of myself and my body to the mat, just like everyone does who practices. But it's almost lucky that I can't actually reach for the right shape of the pose. There is no right, and that's a gift to me.
You said something earlier which I just want to kind of fall back on. You said that this is a blessing.
Yeah.
Can you speak more about that?
Yeah, it slightly comes back to what I was just saying about how I've not got the option of I don't have the choice of feeling like I can do the poses like I see you do them, Scott. I know that I don't have those poses available to me. And so the blessing, the gift, is that it does force me to really engage with where I am and what I can do in each practice, which is, each day is different, of course, but it forces me to meet myself where I am, and it forces me to let go of a lot of should feelings. You know, I should be in this particular pose. I should be having my arm in the air at this point. Or, you know, I should be able to do this for 5 breaths. You know, I've learnt that I have to let go of that, and that's a blessing.
Thank you, man. So what's, if with all of this, through your practice, through you being you, and navigating nature and your beautiful family, what's one thing you like to share with others that you've discovered about yourself?
I think just that, well, I would hope that people could be kinder to themselves on the mat in the practice, because it's very easy for shameful feelings to come up, for self-critical feelings to come up in the poses, because those feelings live in the body. And so I would hope that people could bring more compassion to themselves, to say, yeah, I'm noticing that I feel ashamed, but actually I'm okay. It's fine, I am enough.
Thank you, Jack.
Pleasure.
Appreciate your time.